Counter function CTU. Open up the counter operations list in basic instructions. You will see three counter functions: CTU, CTD and CTUD. Here is an example of the use of CTU. CTU stands for count up. In operation, CTU counts the number of times input CU is switched on. Once the counter reaches the value in PV, program value, output Q is switched on. To reset the counter back to 0, input R must be activated. Output CV can be used to read the current count value to trigger other events at certain values. Counter function CDT. CDT, or countdown, operates in reverse, but with some important differences. Note that CDT also has an input labelled LD. To start the counter, LD must be activated to load the initial count value stored in PV into the counter. Once this has happened, the counter then decrements or counts down to 0. Once 0 is reached, output Q is switched on. Note again that it will continue counting below 0 until LD is again triggered to reset back to the starting value. Here the starting value is 10, stored in PV. Counter function CTUD. The final counter function CTUD, or count up and down, it has two counting inputs. When input CU is triggered, it increases the count value CV by 1. When input CD is triggered, it reduces or decrements the value in CV by 1. Input R resets the counter. Input LD stands for load data. Triggering this input loads CV with the value in PV. PV is the programmed value. It can be used to set an upper threshold to the counter, above which output QU is triggered. Output QU is triggered if the count value in CV exceeds the value in PV. Output QD is triggered if output CV goes below 0. CV is the current count value and can be read and used to trigger other events.